Fantastic. Thank you so much. So we have shared the view-only slide deck in the chat for folks who have requested it. I think helpful as we're getting the Q&A session to see some of these specific details. Though out of respect for our speakers and just to enjoy the element of suspense, please don't scroll ahead. Let the presenters get to their own content. Um, and again, some of you have been doing this already. Please continue to do so. Please post your questions in the chat throughout this, and then we can do that also during a Q&A session. But while they're fresh in your brain, let's get them logged so we can tee them up for our speakers. Next up, we have Dr. Jennifer Shieh, Chief Scientist and Program Manager for Innovation at the Office of Investment and Innovation at the U.S. Small Business Administration.
Great.
Over
Thank
to you.
you. Good morning, and thanks so much for inviting us here. I'm Jennifer Shieh, the Chief Scientist and Program Manager for Innovation at the SBA Office of Investment and Innovation, and I'm joined at this workshop by my colleagues Nick Ivory and Nathan Putnam, so look out for them in the chat. So when we're talking about making America AI ready, we have to talk about making 36 million small businesses AI ready. That's 99.9% of all American businesses and nearly half of our private sector workforce. So I want to share what SBA is seeing and how we're working to support small businesses in the AI economy. So let's start with some good news. The SBA's Office of Advocacy published research in September analyzing census data on business AI adoption. And what we find, what they found might challenge some assumptions. First off is that small businesses are closing the AI gap, and they're doing it fast. So back in February 2024, large businesses were using AI at nearly twice the rate of small businesses, but by August, that gap had shrunk. And so now it looks like small businesses are maybe only a year behind large enterprises in AI adoption. And I will just say that this data is from the September report, and there has been a new release of data from the Census Business Trends and Outlook. So, things continue to evolve. But just to put this gap in perspective, when broadband was nearly universal among large corporations in 2004, only about half of small businesses had high-speed internet access. And so the AI adoption curve is moving much faster. And what's interesting is that small businesses actually lead in several AI use cases. We always think about the small businesses, entrepreneurs being more nimble than the large organizations in being able to especially adopt technologies. And so they're not just following large companies. In some areas like marketing automation, they're finding AI applications that work for their operations. And we know small business owners are resourceful. They're figuring out how AI can help them compete. And so the question isn't whether they're going to adopt AI, but whether they'll get the support they need to do it well. So I've really appreciated our earlier speakers in framing some of those concerns and questions to really consider to support that training. And so the primary barrier is actually the belief that AI isn't applicable to their business. So there are real barriers, of course, to any business adopting AI, but this chart kind of tells an important story here too. So the number one reason that small businesses give for not adopting AI is just that belief. And so this perception problem is one that we can address through education and counseling, right? And of course, there are these legitimate concerns around costs, security, and an uncertain regulatory environment. So even whether the company is developing AI technologies or adopting them, thinking about the risks for what they're using the AI around might impact their particular industry's regulatory environment. And so this one is particularly important for this conversation around state and local coordination. Small businesses are watching the patchwork of state AI regulations develop, and they have to wonder, what does that mean for them? If we look at where small businesses are lagging in investing in AI, it's in training staff. And our administrator Leffler has said that the workforce and having people with the skills to implement and use AI is one of the top concerns she hears from small business owners. And so that's again where local support really becomes critical. Any small business owner needs someone who understands their context to help them see how AI applies to their business, their industry, their workforce. So how are we positioned to help? Well, SBA is the only cabinet level agency that's fully dedicated to small businesses, and we've been doing this since 1953. So what matters for this conversation is that SBA acts as a force multiplier. We leverage federal resources across the entire federal government to unlock private capital and deliver services through partnerships. So you see our nationwide network of 68 district offices across 10 different regions. And the map is really just the SBA direct office footprint, but our real reach comes through our resource partner networks. We know that you know what you need in your state and at the local level. And so what SBA's role is to really partner and support what's working on the ground. So this is also how we'll be using and approaching AI readiness. We're not going to tell business owners what AI tools to use. We want to make sure that we're empowering and supporting the advisors who already work with that business owner so that they have the resources to help them figure it out. SBA empowers local partners to deliver. So we heard about the cooperative extension effort or network, and I think we're going to hear more actually about the extension next. And so SBA also extends our reach through the small business development centers in particular, but a number of different resource partners here. And so I do want to shout out T. Rowe, who's here. And leads America's SBDC, the National Association of SBDCs, the Small Business Development Centers. And all of these SBA-supported resource partners they're already the trusted advisors that small business owners turn to. They're in every state, every territory. They understand the local economies, local challenges, and local opportunities. So adding another topic, and when it comes to AI training, it's not something we need to build from Washington, right? We need to support our existing network. So just highlighting a couple of items here, this partnership between SBDC and Google to establish AIU. That original goal was to train 500 SBDC professionals who would then in turn train 100,000 small businesses. And to date, they've actually already trained nearly 1,500 staff, which is 3 times the original target. So now they're ready to help these small businesses across the country. And this is what public-private partnership looks like. Bringing the experts together from all these different perspectives. SBA can bring the national network. Local SBDCs are delivering the training to businesses in their communities and providing our resource partners provide AI support through multiple channels, formal trainings, webinars, one-on-one counseling. And this gets back to what Austin raised at the very beginning that Seed AI has been hearing, which is people need other people to talk to. And so that's where we try to help. SBDC Net, which SBA funds, provides a free information repository with a number of different small business resources, and that includes AI resources. So I also want to just highlight one other thing that SBA has done recently, more recently, to support small businesses in addressing the new technologies that are coming, which is rewriting loan rules to make sure that small businesses are actually allowed to use their loans for AI implementation and manufacturing. Finally, and this kind of connects back to the state and local coordination theme of the session, we want to make sure that small businesses have a seat at the table as AI policy develops, whether it's at the local, state, or federal level. The administration's AI action plan that was released in July 2025 is built on three core pillars: accelerating innovation, building AI infrastructure, and leading in international diplomacy and security. Now, a core principle of this plan is that the private sector drives innovation while the federal government enables. And so that's the model that we continue to use with our resource partners. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't highlight that SBA supports small businesses on both sides of the AI economy. AI technology developers through programs that are administered and overseen by our office, the Office of Investment and Innovation, like America's Seed Fund, the Small Business Innovation Research, and Small Business Technology Transfer programs. And that is one where each year billions of dollars go to innovative small businesses doing research and development. We also support Main Street businesses adopting new technologies. And so just to point to a current event, just last month, the president released an executive order on ensuring a national AI policy framework, and SBA's Office of Advocacy is holding a roundtable on February 5th, 1 week from today, specifically seeking input on these AI executive orders and making sure that we can hear from directly our core stakeholder group. So as policy frameworks develop, small businesses need to be heard. They're both the innovators building AI tools as well as adopters using them. And an AI-ready America requires AI-ready small businesses. SBA's approach enabling our local partners to deliver for entrepreneurs in their communities is core. They know their local context, they have the trusted relationships. And so our job is to make sure that our partners have the resources and training to help small businesses navigate AI. So small businesses aren't waiting for permission. They're adopting AI. Let's make sure that they have the support they need to do it well. And we really look forward to connecting and collaborating with all of your different organizations on seeing this full network of networks help everybody across America. Thanks.